Hello and welcome to another episode with the Autistic Angler. Today I'm just popping over the road because I've got some worms left from yesterday's boat trip. So I thought I might have a go to see if there's any gilt head, bream or any bass over there. It's 2.5 hours before high tide. It's not raining at the moment. It's a bit overcast, but hey, got some worms to use up. So I'll see you over there. So I'm over here, and like I say, looks about it's 2.5 hours before high tide. So I'm just setting up. And I've remembered to bring a tripod today. I've checked the worms. There's not too many, but there's enough to have a little fish. Especially as I'll probably only be using little bits. Didn't realise I used so many, but then I only bought £1/2 pound yesterday, I think. So there we go. There's enough there for a quick couple of hour session. And I'm only going to use little bits. So I got the broken spod rod, which was the one I was using for mackerelling. And I chose this one today because I needed to have a little bit of distance here, but I didn't want to bring a beach caster over. And this rod is reaching the end of its days. It's already had a whole piece replaced in its life. It's had a couple of rings replaced, and now the tip's broken. I've got another spod rod on order for me to do the mackerelling in Old Portsmouth, where I need to get the distance. I'm quite looking forward to that coming, and that one I'm going to try and look after a bit better. I've only brought one rig over with me today. I'm hoping this lasts long enough. And this is the little cotton bud. It's not cotton buds, is it, this one? Lollipop, but whatever, it's a plastic boom rig. So yep. And I've got an overkill on the braid because I bought the I can never remember which one this is. This is one of the pen reels. It's the one that I use for mackerelling. I bought this one over because I know it works fine with this rod. And the braid is getting a bit older now. Before I go and have another big session, chuck it out as far as I can for the old Mackie over towards Gosport. I was thinking I need to replace the line, or at least turn it round. So I thought today, because I did notice it when I was looking in the bedroom which reel to bring out, that the line is faded a little, and that's a sign of it getting a bit older. So there's nobody out on the spit lure fishing today. Would have been a good day for that as well, I think. But like I say, I'm here to use up these worms that I bought back from our little trip yesterday. So let's... Well, where's the rig? It's down there. Managed to bring myself a baiting needle as well. Okay, it's actually quite warm. I'll come out through there. That tail will break off just nicely there. I didn't realise it was this warm out here today. I put my hoodie on. but I can easily take that off. So, as with all my fishing, I'm not expecting anything, rather than just hoping that I'll catch something. But as we know, there's some little schoolie bass around in here, and from a couple of years ago there was some bream around, some gilt-head bream. And I got a chance to come out, use these up, so why not have a go, eh? Now the sun's up there, let's put them down by the bucket. They're out of the any dog's ways then. Out of the way of any dogs, not dogs' ways. Right. Hello, Colin.
Hey, Martin. How's it going?
Fine. This is my first cast.
First one, yeah, I've got to watch this. You know what time high tide is today?
It's about 1 o'clock, I think. No, 2 o'clock.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Right, I'm just picking a slightly drier mark out here. There's loads of worm casts. They always is out here. There's a bit of shingle here, look. That'll take me round to the shore. It's a bit muddy over that way, so let's come over this way. And you can see the edge of the seaweed over there. So I reckon if I come here, should be able to get it out just past the end of the seaweed. Oh, that didn't go anywhere. What happened there? Oh, I'm caught up at the top. Yeah, well, that's because of that broken tip, look. It caught round the tip. That is caught round the tip. Okay. As I said, it is coming to the end of its day, this rod. All right, let's try that again. Don't know what I could do different to actually get that to cast all right then. Maybe a bit more of a gentle cast. Let's try again. If I could try, I'll do it that way. That's better. Right, that's out there. And obviously, I don't know if it's in the weed or not. That's another reason why this rod's likely to be heading to the bin then. Well, not heading to the bin, but you know what I mean. Right, well, I'm fishing. And I think I'm going to raise up, I'm going to put it in the cups and raise those up high, because if I can, I need to keep it out of the weed. Right, we can go higher, that. Now I've got to be careful about tipping it over. So let's come back a bit, dig it in. So there's no signs of life yet. And I've only had one dog come up to me as well. But I guess all the dog walkers go out early. Because the rod's broken, I know it's not that sensitive, but I should see a bite. But I just don't think there's anything to see yet. Let me just check. Trying to remember what time the tide times are. Langston Harbour, 2:07, and it's not even 12:07 yet, so we've got another 2 hours before high tide. So I think I was just a touch early. Those little school bass that were biting or that were moving around, not necessarily biting. Oh, actually, I did catch one earlier in the week. They were all about an hour to an hour and a half before high tide. So, all I can do is wait and see. I'll plan on putting some fresher worms on in, I don't know, quarter of an hour, 20 minutes. The flags on the People's Memorial are quite limp. There's hardly any wind blowing, and it's warmer than I thought. I've got no expectations, so I'll give it a quarter of an hour, 20 minutes, and then I'll check the baits. Bait check. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that bait then. Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do then. I'm going to bring this in and I'll put out a whole worm on each hook this time, as it's getting close to where I think there might be some activity. Right, I'm out there. Let's come down this way a bit. Right, see if I can get it in. Yes, we can get it in. Can I get it in without weeds? Can't see it on the surface yet. It's up on the surface, but I can't see it. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Right in front of me. Oh, no, that's fine. It's coming in fine. Through that weed, through that weed. Oh, snagged on something. Through that weed, through that one, through that one. Bish, bash, bosh. And yeah, there's a little bit of weed there, but the blooming worms are still there. Can't ignore this time. Hello there. Nothing yet. I haven't even had a bite.
I used to fish here years ago.
Did you?
Well, I fished all my life, but we used to fish off the wall just there.
Yeah?
And I remember I used to bring children from a children's section in the fishing club we had.
Yeah?
And you guarantee each one of them would have 3 or 4 flounders. You know,
yep.
either side high water.
Yep.
But,
well, loads of people are telling me back in the day when there was flounder here. Do you follow fishing at all?
Yeah.
Alan Knight used to be a famous journalist.
Yeah, I know.
He did a video, which is on YouTube, 1970 something or other, over at the oyster beds.
Yeah.
And he was casting out, and the flounder he was bringing in, this sort of size, every chuck. And if it wasn't a flounder, it was an eel. Now, what are we getting nowadays? We're lucky if we can get a school bass.
Yeah.
But I've got to be honest, this is why I'm here today. A couple of years back, I started getting gilthead bream here.
Yeah. I belong to the Chelsea Angling Club.
Oh, you do?
And so I beach fished a fair bit, but only for flounders, because beach fishing doesn't really interest me. So I fished up here for flounders, especially November, December.
Yeah.
Off that wall was bloody good. I had a Morris 1000 van. I used to back the van up.
Wow.
Open the back doors. But when I took the boat, used to take the boat up to the oyster beds or down Broome Channel.
Yeah.
And fish with a float and spoon. I've caught 50, 60. Was nothing in a competition. You'd reckon 20, 30 fish each man.
Wow.
But we used to put them all back.
Yeah.
Just keep enough that you were going to eat.
Yeah.
But when they began to die off, we had a fish forensic scientist.
Yep.
In fish in the club. He said that the rivers used to have fish called a bleak, I think it is.
Yes.
He said that they virtually died out.
Right.
And when they've investigated, they eventually tracked it down to sewerage discharge into the water.
I just heard something. Just here, look. See that ripple out there?
Yeah.
There was a bass right in close.
They do.
Yeah, can I just chuck my line out? If there's fish there, he was horribly close. Try, I can't abide not actually fishing. I've got worms on my line. That fish was very close. Now, do you know what? I'll just give it a gentle lob. Not that gentle. What happened there? Nothing. Right, there you go. We're in a bit closer with that one. Yeah, sorry, you were talking about the bleak.
Yeah, they found out what it was. That when they come open a lot of the fish they had, they found that the male ones, their testicles were gone, which fish have them inside.
Yeah.
And it was the women who take pills.
Yeah, the estrogen.
They take a pee.
Yeah.
That comes out, and that's what happened here.
Yeah.
They because up in Liverpool they also did it with flounders and found they were the same.
Right.
Estrogen had affected it.
Yeah.
Because the water's clearer now than it was when I was a kid.
Yep.
But that don't mean to say it's better, because there was no estrogen about then.
No.
In fact, we used to fish down by the sewage and catch toilet paper and God knows what else, and the flounders were in there.
Yeah. Well, there's food for them.
But what you saw just now, most times, in fact, the last time I took my boat up here, because I've been away and then I was ill for a while, I was in a leak up we call Tangier's Leak.
Yep.
And within 3 foot of the water line, the water was bubbling all around, and it was bass, so their backs were out the water.
Yeah.
It was so shallow, and they were, as the tide came up, they were moving up, which makes sense. They're feeding on.
Well, I caught one on a lure the other day, and I wasn't chucking out. I was just to the edge of the weed line and bringing it back in. And they come in amongst the sea, amongst the weed.
And I've told people, beach fishermen down on Southsea Beach, the cod are in rough weather, where the waves break. They smash the shells and crabs out, and that's where the fish are. Everybody
overcasts them.
Yes. And one of the lads was saying that him and his mate, who are good, they're into competitions, but they were beach fishing, and the little lad with them, and they were fishing with whole squid, cod. could only get it out like 10 yards, and he beat the brains out.
I was going to say, and he was catching the fish.
They were miles past and too far.
Yeah.
And Friday, I was riding along here, and on the spit that goes out.
Yep.
I've seen him many times. A bloke out there with waders.
Yep.
And I thought he's fly fishing.
Well, that's what I thought.
But he's casting a little spinner.
Oh, right.
And I've also seen him down in the harbour mouth out on the sandbank.
Yeah, because I was down there on Friday, down by the fig tree.
Yeah.
And he was out on the spit, and he was quite high up into his.
Yeah. He
into his waders.
He works for the fisheries.
Oh, right. Okay.
And he spins out there, and this time he had 4 small bass.
Yes.
But he said normally he'll catch 3 or 4 shoalies. But he said to me, they're in close today.
Yeah. Well, that one was very close. And I've come in a bit closer, but there's something in your brain that you can't... Where do you fish now? Do you still fish?
Yeah, but not so much. I mean, I spent 25 years out on the wrecks. Too,
right.
And I've got to get rid of my boat.
Oh, you still got your boat?
Yeah.
When you said you were part of the thing, I thought you were going to say you're up in Baffins doing the after the carp and everything up there. I don't think I've spoken to somebody in the Portsmouth Angling Club that doesn't do Baffins. Are you Portsmouth Angling or Southsea Angling?
Southsea Angling Club, which is
Southsea Angling, yeah. Yeah, I know where it is. By the side,
just over there.
by the side of the slipway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've fished since my father was a fisherman, so we used to have just a rowing boat then.
Right.
I mean, when I was 4, he made me row with 1 oar. By the time I was 8, I could row both. He just sat in the stern smoking while I rowed.
Do you not go out on your boat much now then?
I'm 76 now, and my boat, I rigged her for going 30 miles out in the channel.
Yeah.
I've got a 70, so she'll cruise at 20, 25 knots, but the last times I went, and I was fishing a wreck out off of Littlehampton. And the average wreck was costing me 90 quid in petrol.
Yes.
2 of us, that was 45 quid each. It wasn't bad, but it was 50 quid to go out on a charter boat.
Yeah.
But then when the fuel went up, that went from 90 to 150 quid and fuel.
Yeah.
So that was that. But I've been doing it for 20 odd years, and I found a load of wrecks.
Yeah, but it's the cost of the fuel. My father-in-law's a fisherman, and he was going to buy a boat and live aboard the boat in his retirement. But he just said, no, I've looked into the fuel, and I just can't afford to run it all the time. Well, he said if you go out to Nab and back, he said it's going to cost me 20, 30 quid.
Well, and easy, yeah.
He said, what's the point?
I mean, I know 2 or 3 people, and I've said to them, if you're going to have a boat, just to go fishing, maybe once a month if you're lucky, depending on the weather, you might as well just chuck hundreds of pounds in the water. I said, if you're going to use it, though, for a bit of fishing, take the wife and kids out for days out and use it, and possibly even spend a weekend on it.
Yeah.
Then it becomes viable.
Yeah.
And I know a couple of people that live on their boats in a marina.
Yeah.
It's the only way to make it viable. But
well, I did that in Southampton a few years back. I just bought a rundown yacht and lived on the river there, and that was lovely.
Yeah.
Just getting up in the morning, having to go for the mullet and the bass before you have your breakfast.
I could do that, but my missus would. She would do that.
No, liveaboard isn't a problem, but it's motoring out to do it, and then you've got the maintenance and the worry of, because it's worse than a car, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a money pit.
Something went on with that rod, and it wasn't a big bite, but it was.
Oh, was it?
Slowly dipped. Might have been a piece of weed touching it, but.
But it's a crappy old rod. You can see it's broken, so it's
broke the top off.
Yeah. But it doesn't matter for here.
No.
It's a rod that I use and abuse. That's my old mackerel rod that I used. So, and that's what I was having the gilt head. I was surprised to get the gilt head on this side. I thought they all went over on the oyster beds over there.
It's a fallen tide now, isn't it? It's going.
No, it's still coming in. It's a 2 o'clock tide this afternoon.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah, because it was mud when I got here. It's still coming up.
Yeah, the boats confuse me. You can see with the boat over there.
Yes, they're facing the wrong way. Yeah.
But you get over there and they're going every direction.
Yep.
Oh, you're at the best then. Just either side of high water was always, well, to me, even when I'm out deep, either side of high water is the best fishing.
It is. And even definitely on the beach as well.
Yeah.
2 up, 2 down, it seems to be the best. I mean, you can catch two down and 2 up at low, but high seems to be better. When were you last out fishing?
A year ago.
Oh, wow. You do need to sell your boat then.
Well, I've had it for 40 years and I stripped it back and rebuilt it.
How big is it?
She's 18 foot.
Right. Just big enough then?
70 horsepower outboard on it.
That must motor then.
She used to do 32 knots, but once I'd finished, I built ribs into her, I put inch ply deck. She came down to, well, I truly don't know, but it should be somewhere around just under 30, but I cruise at 18, 20.
Yeah, but we don't need...
At 18, 20, I don't have to hang on to anything.
Yeah. And you've always got that, well, I have anyway, even with this sort of fishing, at the back of your mind, it's cost all the time.
Yeah.
If you're cruising at 80 instead of 30, it's saving you a lot of money. And
getting rid of my boat means, you know, I've got nets at home and buoys, all sorts of rods. So getting rid of my boat really means I'm finished with fishing.
Yeah.
That would half empty my garage.
Well, you've got to look at...
You don't like to admit it that you passed it.
Well, no, that was what I was going to say. You've got to look at, are you actually going to go out on it again?
If I could come up here and catch flounders, I'd get rid of the boat and buy a smaller one to harbour fishing. I enjoyed sitting there watching a float going out.
Yep.
And even if there were fish now, I'd beach fish here, but it's terrible. It's terrible out in the boats. People are now going 20, 30 miles for what I used to catch better when I rode.
Yeah. No, it's not good. And there's a whole raft of reasons for it.
But fishing in a fast boat like mine is, you know, most of the runs were 2 hours. And 2 hours of banging your kidneys.
Yeah.
Now at 76, it would kill me. Well, I've grown up with the best of it.
Yes, haven't you? You've been very lucky.
I've seen a couple of people, as the tide's gone down, out on that shingle banks fishing.
Yeah.
Out the end of the bank.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's surprising, I walked on, I was sure I could see a bicycle. And when I got my binoculars out, it was, and they were using the bicycle as a rod rest.
Right.
Well, best of luck to you.
Yep, and you. A bite I had, he said. Well, I've been looking ever since he said that, and I haven't seen anything. Very depressing speaking to these old boys. Time for the last cast. So I've loaded up with all the last lot of worms. And let's chuck it out that way this time. Right. As I said, last cast is now in the water. So it warmed up at the end, but no fish, so that was another blank. But it was nice to talk to that chap. So for today, that's me done.